Welcome back to the Badass Literature Society, where badasses come together to rate and review novels recommended by you. Welcome to Season 5. I'm Michael.
I'm Barbara.
And I'm Lauren.
Today we're going to be talking about the books we are most excited for that are coming out, or in some cases have already come out in 2024. Like we did last time we did one of these, we'll go round robins. We'll do the books one at a time and tell you about them a little bit. If you have any of these books that you're also really excited to read, please let us know in the comments, and maybe we'll read one for the podcast.
Mine is in no particular order. I did not order these in any form or fashion. It's just a hodgepodge of things. So starting out, I have Fatebreaker by Victoria Aveyard. Comes out February 27th of this year, clearly. And it's the final book in the Realmbreaker series, and I'm extremely ready for the conclusion of the story, but also dreading it because she's prone to murdering people. So I am both excited and pins and needles because, oh my gosh. But yes, excited for
Somebody's
this
gonna
one.
die.
And exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happened in book 2. So I'm also excited for this one.
And in her other series. But yes, excited for that one. I'm assuming Michael and I will probably do a bonus since we've done a bonus podcast for both other books in the series. So I guess maybe look out for that, ladies.
No, we'll do a regular episode. Lauren will just have 3 books of homework that month.
I will not be participating in that. I do not consent.
I do not want to be part of this review. Thanks.
Thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah.
Maybe if it was just one book, but not 3.
Yeah, plus these books are quite hefty too, so have fun reading 3.
I guess that means it's my turn. So mine are also not in any rhyme or reason. They're just thrown on here, not organized by genre or release date. The first one that I have written down is Empire of the Damned by Jay Kristoff, which comes out on February 29th. This is a sequel to the first book in this series called Empire of the Vampire. It came out in 2021. Really excited for this book. It's going to take me a long time to read it. I already know that because I'm sure it's going to be at least as big as the first one, which was like an 800-page book. Actually, I just looked on Goodreads. This one's 736 pages, so maybe a little shorter, but still pretty long. But yeah, I'm really excited about this. I really enjoyed the first book in this series, and I'm excited to see where the story takes these characters next. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about the specifics because it's the sequel and I don't want to spoil things if somebody out there hasn't read the first book and wants to. We're also going to be doing a podcast on this one. Lauren will have 2 800-page. No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, by yourself, maybe, because neither.
I think what we'll do is in the next month. So for March, we'll do the Victoria Aveyard book for the full review. So Lauren will have to read 3 books, and we'll do this one for the bonus. She'll have to read those 2 as well. So it'll be a 5-book month. All the books are between 600 and 800 pages.
Let me just go hide in a hole somewhere until April.
No, just kidding. But
Lauren
yeah,
walking down the street with headphones, like, "Don't talk to me. I'm listening to my books."
Exactly. My 3-year-old comes up. I can't speak to you.
Go find your dad.
Mommy's busy.
Mommy's busy. So, in typical fashion, I did organize mine. However, I did not organize them by like ones that I want to read first. I just did like a fantasy section, a mystery thriller section, and a miscellaneous. So my first few will be fantasy. My first one is Somewhere Beyond the Sea by TJ Klune, and it doesn't come out till September 10th, so I got some waiting time for that one. But it is the sequel to The House in the Cerulean Sea. I don't know how to say that word.
Cerulean?
Cerulean.
Like the color?
Cerulean.
It is the
cerulean.
Color. I've never been good at saying that word. So I really liked the first book. I'm looking forward to the second one, but I've heard time to wait.
I've seen that book like all over Book Talk and just book reviews or lists and stuff like that it's a good book, but I haven't picked it up.
It is good, so I'm excited for its sequel.
Okay, my other one, or I guess, I don't know, is called Where Sleeping Girls Lie by Ferida Abiki Limidi. Sorry, I'm not sure if I probably am not saying that correctly, but that comes out March 19th. I have her other book, and so I'm really excited for this one because she's all about the Dark Academia and I like that genre. This one is a murder mystery in boarding school. Say less, right up my alley. So really excited for this one as well.
This one's on my TBR as well, so if we wanted to read this for the pod, I'd be open to that.
Same here. I think that's 2 votes for it. I think that's a winner. Gonna have to slot it in.
We'll just have to see if we can squeeze that in after Lauren reads those other 5 books.
Okay.
Let's see. My second one on my list is Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson, which is book 5 of the Stormlight Archive. It doesn't come out till December 6th, so I've got a lot of waiting for that one. I did already pre-order it, though, so I'm definitely getting it, but not until December. Really excited for that as well. Again, not going to talk a whole lot about it because it's book 5 in a very popular series and don't want to spoil for people who aren't caught up. But it's another massive book. It'll probably be even larger than Empire of the Damned. So usually when I read these, I read them over like multiple months of the podcast, so that I read it when I'm not reading the podcast book. And that's how long it takes. But yeah, I'm excited for that.
So my next one is These Deadly Prophecies by Andrea Tang, and it actually did come out January 30th. I do not possess it yet, but I'm pretty excited for it. It is a fantasy meets like murder mystery, so I'm pretty, it's like magic infused murder mystery party style.
I also have this on my list, so I won't talk about it, but when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, me too. I need this.
Yes,
it sounds really
I would like
good
to read this one. It is another one for the pod.
I mean, once again, 2 votes, so I think that's a winner.
I mean, Michael, are you saying that really is that long for this?
Yeah, I looked it up right after when you started talking. It 1,248 pages.
For what, yours?
Wind and Truth, book 5 of the Stormlight Archive.
No. I was going to say, These Deadly Prophecies is a good 256 pages, so
nice.
I'll sign up for that one.
little different.
Oof, yeah. My next one is called Feybound by Sarah L. Arifi. That came out January 23rd. So I'm not a huge fan of like the Fae stuff, and that's been like a whole thing, like how vampires were a whole thing for a while because of Twilight. Yeah, so I know everyone likes this, but I'm not a huge fan of Fae things, but I've heard this author is really amazing, and this is, I believe, a new series for her. She has a previous series, and I've seen this on a lot of most anticipated books of 2024, so I'm willing to give it a try. Also, it has elves, so I'm okay with elves. I do enjoy elves. I just don't like Fae, but we'll see. But it sounded really good, and so I am willing to give this one a try. Because
for those of us that are maybe less knowledgeable about Fae, what is it?
I think it's a type of fairy, right? It's just fairy. It's
Yep.
another way of saying
it's
fairy.
Like fairy. Okay, that makes sense.
But like when
what is this Fae?
Right. When I think of fairies, I think of like little, like, what's her face? Tinkerbell, like a little fairy. But apparently,
so Tinkerbell's a pixie.
Yeah. Okay, well, you know what, Michael?
So, Michael, what's a fairy then, if it's not a pixie? Because I also am picturing, and I know they're like pixies, but I do picture them like the little.
Depends on the lore in the book and whatever, but generally, what most people talk about as a fairy in fantasy literature looks similar to what a lot of people would think of when they see an elf in other fantasy literature.
Okay,
They
generally have
like normal sized people,
they're usually slightly bigger.
Oh.
They live a very long time, just like they do, like elves do and other things. Sometimes they have wings, sometimes they don't. Just depends.
I believe this genre popped with Faes because of that one lady, that book that Michael reads.
Sarah J. Maas.
Yeah, her.
Yeah,
I do want to read that book. It's still on my list. But...
So
I'm talking about the Throne of Glass series, Lauren. You're talking about.
Oh, never mind.
Court of Thorns and Roses.
Thorns and Roses. Yeah.
Stop.
Well, thank you for clarifying. I was not sure. I know about fairies necessarily in the fantasy genre. I just didn't realize that fae meant the same thing.
I think it does. At least
now I feel dumb.
I thought it did. I think it's just another word for, like, they just kind of dubbed it fae now. It's a whole.
I think that's correct. If somebody's listening to this right now,
and
we're entirely wrong, then please correct us. We'd love to be corrected on this.
Clearly, we are not knowledgeable in the whole fae genre of
Apparently
books.
not. Maybe not, I guess. We should say maybe not. We don't know, we're not knowledgeable. Maybe not.
I mean, I haven't read anything with Fae because I stray far, 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 far away from it.
Didn't you like read one book with
I
the
read
Fae
one
and you
book
didn't like it, and then you
years
just like
ago.
have been avoiding it like the plague ever
Yes.
since then?
Literally years. This is probably
You
what I
probably
was.
missed a lot of good books because of that.
You know what? It's fine, and I'm okay with that. So, but this one might be where I'm dipping my little toesies in the water of the Fae realm. So,
All right. My next one is Red Sky Morning by Jack Carr. It comes out May 9th. This is book 7 in the Terminal List series, which is a hard right turn based on the first 2 that I had, which were fantasy. The Terminal List, if you're not familiar with it, is an action thriller about former Navy SEAL sniper James Reese. It goes on all sorts of intense adventures to save America or the world or both. And so this was the newest one of that series. It's coming out a little later this year. I'm not quite caught up, so I've got to read book 6 before book 7 comes out. I have it, I just haven't read it yet, but I've got until May. So
none of that sounds appeasing to me.
It's definitely not your kind of book, or one that I would ever make either of you read for the podcast. Like, no, neither of you scream military thriller. Yes.
So you're gonna make me read the 5 other books, but you're not gonna make me read.
You're more likely to like the 5 other books. Like, those are fantasy books that are really good.
But
I don't think that there's any
I like
universe where you
thriller
enjoy.
books better than fantasy.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know. Maybe your sister would actually
Fine.
enjoy.
Maybe
these.
we will read a military thriller book on the podcast then, and
no,
we'll
please
see.
do not
Now.
fuck me. I don't
Now.
want to be part of this narrative.
If
No.
someone's listening right now and they also think Lauren should read a military thriller book,
And
leave it on
Barbara gets a
Instagram.
pass. Can we all have like a new thing for season 4? Is
So
we each
when
get
you
a
leave
pass?
when you leave this request, make sure you say you want us to read a military thriller and that Barbara may not take a pass.
Yes.
So the
yes.
deal is, if I read the military thriller, then I'm off the hook for the 7 other books you assigned.
Fine, deal.
Oh,
All right.
wow. That was not a hard
My
bargain.
next one, I think Barbara might like, but it's called A Tempest of Tea by Hafsa Faisal, and it comes out February 20th. Basically, like tea room by day, underground vampire haunt by night.
Perfect.
So it's like a whole vampire society, and they have like this dainty tea room that they run during the day, and then after hours, it becomes this different situation, and it seems lots of chaos ensues. And I
Yes,
think it
because
sounds-
vampires. I too
sounds good.
also had this in my list. There was quite a few between you and I that were on the same. So yes,
You guys
I
had a
too.
fair amount of crossover.
Yeah, which
Sweet.
I'm kind of surprised because I feel like you weren't much of a fancy girly, and I feel like we've
Listen,
pushed you
y'all-
in the water.
I wasn't, and then I mean, other than Harry Potter, of course,
Right.
but and I liked like Divergent, but I guess that's dystopian.
Yeah,
not
this
fantasy.
dystopian. Yeah.
But I've definitely become more into that genre since being forced to read it on the podcast.
Try by fire. You didn't really get a choice.
That is true, but yeah,
I'd say it's been a good thing for you, though, probably.
it's probably been good in some situations.
I mean, I think,
Other situations, I'm like,
Barbara and
this is-
I read some, romantic books or murder mystery books that we might not have picked up otherwise that were recommended by.
We have read 0 of the romance books because
That is
we all
false.
three didn't like the one that was like a true rom-com, like a
We
true.
read a book
like a
called
true
When We
chick
Believed in
lit.
Mermaids.
Was that
And-
rom-com though?
That wasn't
No,
like
that
a
was
chick
not
lit.
a com. It was very dramatic, but it was.
Oh.
That
chick
wasn't
lit.
like, but that
That
was
was
not.
contemporary, I think. Just
Yeah, that was
dra-
not true
drama.
chick lit. The one that we had that like got recommended to us that was like true pure chick lit, I didn't even like, and so we
skipped it.
we skipped it. But we have
Yeah.
not read. Okay, so when
A
I get to
true
my
rom-com.
miscellaneous category, funny story. That one is one that is like a true.
I'm not gonna lie. I kind of just want to do one just random for Michael, just so he can feel
should.
the pain.
Emily Henry's a great one.
I don't tend.
What was
to
that
read
about?
rom-coms.
Everybody getting a pass, Barbara?
She's all over book talk, so maybe
You don't-
Michael needs to expand his horizons too.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
You,
so
this
I'll
is
do
the
that.
same thing. You can, ladies, just go ahead. Men as well, if y'all read rom coms, I'm not judging. Put in a little recommendation in there and put a Michael can't pass one.
Yeah, that's fine. So
Sucker.
Lauren will read a military thriller. I'll read a chick lit, and Barbara will read a Sarah J. Maas book.
Oh, no. Nope.
Court of
Pass, hard
Thorns and
pass.
Roses. Lauren's the
Nope.
one who has to read that for a while.
Well, that's good for you guys. That's going to be a no for me. Thank you. Thank you, next.
I don't think so. No passing, Barbara.
No. Moving on. My next one is called The Invocation by Crystal Sutherland. That came out the 30th of January, I believe, a few days ago. I have read her previous book and absolutely loved the ambiance that she creates in her books. So yes, anyway, it's a YA witchy thriller. Absolutely loved the other book. Like I said, the atmosphere that she creates and created in it, it was called House of Hallow. It was really, really good. So I'm really excited for this one. This one's about 3 girls who try to stop a serial killer via occult magic. I love me some dark magical thrillers, right up my alley. I really enjoyed the way she wrote. So I am looking forward to this one. And I believe I will be purchasing this one this weekend. So
I would also read this one.
Yes. I think you would like her. So I believe she has 2 books out. One of them got made into a movie. I haven't read that one, but the other one is just chef's kiss as far as like the creepiness in it. And it has 3 sisters, and I really liked their relationship together because it's very rare. I feel like when you see a book with like sisters, it's either like they hate each other or there's always like something going on. This one, no, like they're like all for each other, and that's why I really, really enjoyed that. So I think you should read House of Hollow, but if not, read this one with me.
Yes.
All right. Next one on my list is The Bullet Swallower by Elizabeth Gonzalez James. It just came out January 23rd.
This actually
So
sounds
this is a
good,
dazzling magical Western in the vein of Cormac McCarthy. The Bullet Swallower follows a Mexican bandito as he sets off for Texas to save his family, only to encounter a mysterious figure who has come finally to collect a cosmic debt generations in the making. Sounds very interesting. I like Westerns. I like fantasies. I think this could be a fun mashup.
Yeah. I don't dislike Westerns or anything. I think I've only ever read like one that could be considered a Western, and I liked it. But this kind of reminds me a little bit of the Orquídea book. What was that called?
The Inheritance
because of
Divina
just
Orquídea.
Because of like the whole family like made a promise to someone and now it's like come back to bite them type little like aspect, which I'm intrigued by. So that's why this one sounded good to me. Not so much the Western, I could take it or leave it aspect of that.
I probably made you watch more Westerns than read Westerns.
Yes. 100%. I don't think we've ever read a Western, actually.
I don't think I have. I don't think that we have together.
No. I know. For the podcast, we haven't. The only one I've read is The Gunslinger by
we could probably make
Stephen
that happen.
King.
Would you rather read a Western or Sarah J. Maas, Barbara?
A Western.
Okay, there we go.
So my next one is A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping, which I'm also very excited about. I didn't do much research, but I didn't see a date on it, so I don't know when that one comes out. Basically the protagonist resurrects a relative and loses her magic as a result, and then she gets exiled from her guild, and then she runs an inn with her resurrected aunt and hears rumors of an ancient spell book, and then goes on a quest to get her magic back. And I think
this sounded good too.
It sounds really good.
September 10th.
Oh, I gotta wait so long.
Oh,
you get it for your birthday.
There we go. That's the second one for September 10th. The other one was September 10th too. I think it sounds good. I think sounds like a good cross between, like, I guess it's pretty much fantasy, but it feels like there's also like murder mystery type vibes. So
yes. I will also be putting that on my list or have it. Let's see here. My next one is Snow Globe by So Young Park. Comes out February 27th. And it was described as the Hunger Game meets Squid Game, which is like, hello, competitive murder. Gotta love that, you know. Although I don't think this one's children. So hopefully, because, you know, Hunger Games children. But I can't remember if it's YA or adult. I do not recall that one. So I guess that'll be dependent on that. But I was reading the synopsis of this one and it sounded really, really cool. It's like the society that lives in the snow globe and everyone else outside of it is like in poverty and stuff. They videotape them or record them, not videotape, I guess, record them in the snow globe and all that. And then like one person sneaks into the snow globe and realizes it's not all fun and games. Bum, bum, bum. So it sounds really good. I'm excited for this one.
I agree. That one also sounds good, I thought. I've got The Familiar by Lee Bardugo. Comes out April 9th. This one sounds really interesting. I've enjoyed the Lee Bardugo books that I have read, and this one sounds good. It's a historical fantasy set during the Spanish Golden Age, which I love historical fantasies. I think that when they're done well, they can be really, really good. And I won't read the entire description for this, but if it sounds good to you, then please check it out. The Familiar by Lee Bardugo.
So moving into my mystery thriller genre section, the first one I have for that one is The New Couple in 5B by Lisa Unger, and it comes out in March. A couple inherits a swanky apartment in New York. The vibes are off or creepy, and then a neighbor dies, spurring an investigation. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. That kind of vibe of the couple in 5B. So I don't know. Sounds like a good thriller. Gets good reviews, like on the pre-release. So
that's always good. I feel like this was another one that I had Googled after the fact, and it sounded good to me too. My next one is More Than Life by Bethany Finger. Comes out February 13th. And this is obviously our fellow podcaster from Prince Kai Fan Pod debut novel, and I believe we will be reading this, so join us this month when we review it. We're excited to read it, or have started reading it, and you still have time to pre-order her book and receive some pre-order goodies. I believe you just send her the photo of the pre-order, like obviously proof that you pre-ordered and stuff like that, and you get some goodies, so you can check out her Instagram page for all that. So look out for that, and we're excited for it.
We are. And excited to have her on, too, to talk about it after we do the review.
yes.
Next on my list is called Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay. It comes out June 11th. For those of you that don't know, I'm a huge horror buff, but I don't necessarily read as much horror as I enjoy in other mediums. But this one sounded really good. It's a chilling twist on the cursed film genre from Paul Tremblay, who wrote The Cabin at the End of the World. If you're familiar with that, I'm familiar with the movie. I've not read the book.
It's good.
You read the book, Lauren?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And this book would be on my list too. I mean, I like these. The only problem is, like, a lot of my reading time is at night, and I feel like,
you don't want to read creepy horror at night?
not by myself.
Why not?
We get a FaceTime from Lauren. Okay, guys, just sit around with me while I read this book.
Just hang out while I'm reading, please. My next one is How to Solve Your Own Murder by Kristen Perrin, and it comes out in March. This one's got some hype from several different lists, but then I think I saw it in Book Talk too.
I have as well.
It has really good reviews so far on the pre-release, whatever, for Goodreads. So everyone's a suspect. Frances gets a prediction that she'll be murdered and spends her life trying to dodge her doom. Then fast forward and she ends up murdered as predicted, and her family tries to unravel her secrets. So I think it sounds really good. It's a good, like, whodunit / I don't know, like trying to escape your fate, but then boom, you can't.
Yeah, that one does sound good.
Murdered.
And you're dead.
Michael, would you read this one?
I thought it sounded interesting.
I feel like all these we're gonna have to put on our list because, well, except for Michael's. Sorry.
I think everything to be honest, Lauren, on your list from the fantasy and mystery thriller, I thought they all sounded good. They're the only stuff that on your list that I think didn't is stuff you're going to get to at the end. Some of the miscellaneous ones are not my cup of tea.
Fair.
Wonder why. My next one is Children of Anguish and Anarchy by Tomi Adeyemi, June 25th. Really looking forward to this one because it's another finale of a series of the Children and Bone series. I think that's what it's called. I'm pretty sure it is. But I've been looking forward. I think
that's right, yeah.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to it because it's been a hot second. I feel like the first two books came out relatively close together, and then this one took forever, and I am an impatient bitch when it comes to waiting for these books, and all of these books are taking too long, and it's all like the end of a series, and you'll see quite a few of these now that I'll be lifting like back to back to back, because the 2024 is going to be the year of ending of series, so I will
year of closure.
Yes, year of closure. I will be depressed and happy and all the things, because I finally get my book, but then like book series that I enjoy are going to be over. So yes, but I'm super excited for this one.
It's going to be a grab bag of emotions for Barbara.
It will be.
Yeah.
It will be. Yes,
I still
podcasting
want to read the
people.
first Children in Bone. That's still
Oh
on my
my gosh,
to-do.
Lauren, it is
I feel
so
like
good.
I
I
would
think
like
you'll
it.
like it. I really do. I think you'll really like it. It's the world building, the magic is just amazing. The characters are really, really good. I do think if neither of you have read it, I do think both of you guys would really like this one. And to fellow
It's been on my
podcasters,
list
it's a
too
very good
since
one.
you recommended it.
Yeah, it's been
Like
on my
20
list for
years
quite
ago.
some time. I just haven't picked it up yet.
Yeah,
it's been a little while.
it's very
Barbara.
good.
Nom Nom is fresh dog food made by real people who really care. They're purposeful and enthusiastic about giving your dog the best food for them and their health, so they can thrive and be their best. Nom Nom delivers fresh food made with whole ingredients backed by veterinary science. And science tells us that dog health starts in the bowl, so improving their diet is one of the best ways to help them live a long, happy life. All you have to do is order, pour, and serve. Barbara and I have 2 dogs, Luna, a husky, and Quinny, a Shih Tzu mix. Our 2 dogs love the beef mash recipe, but to be honest, I'd say Quinny's favorite is the turkey fare. She drools when that comes out of the fridge. Yes, I know, Luna. I'm going to tell them about that right now. Luna is an extremely picky eater and always has been. She usually takes forever to warm up to new food, but not with Nom Nom. She dove in immediately. Both dogs seemed to have more energy, and Luna's stools were no longer soft. Your dog's health starts in the gut. A better diet means softer coats, more energy, better breath, and smaller, more consistent stools. Your dog can't tell you if they're healthy, but you can tell when their health improves. It's the easiest way to take the guesswork out of feeding your dog the best. Nom Nom meals are pre-portioned for your dog's exact caloric needs. Board-certified vet nutritionists are kind of a big deal, and Nom Nom has 2 on staff that work extensively to ensure everything gets sent out is the very best for your dog's livelihood. So how does Nom Nom work? You tell them about your pup, age, breed, weight, allergies, and protein preferences. Then they tailor a specific amount of individually packaged Nom Nom meals and send them straight to you. Store the meals in the freezer or fridge until it's mealtime. They'll give you specific instructions on how to transition your dog from foods like kibble to always fresh Nom Nom for best results. Watch your dog clean their dishes, dance for dinner, and overall thrive. Ready to make the switch to fresh? Order Nom Nom today. Go to a link in the description of this episode and then use our referral code, BADASSLIT. That's BADASSLIT, and get 50% off your first order plus free shipping. Plus, Nom Nom comes with a money-back guarantee. If your dog's tail isn't wagging within 30 days, Nom Nom will refund your first order. No fillers, no nonsense, just Nom Nom. Let's see. My next one is The Mercy of the Gods by James S.A. Corey. It comes out August 6th. Some of you are already familiar with that. I don't know if you two are, even though we've read a book by James S.A. Corey on this podcast. It's a single name for a group of 2 authors that write together. They wrote the Expanse series. We read Leviathan's Wake for the podcast many moons ago. But yeah, Daniel Abraham and Ty Frank, they're collaborating again on a new sci-fi trilogy that explores a different corner of the space opera universe. This one's inspired in part by the Bible's apocalyptic book of Daniel. And I won't read the entire description that I have, but if you think that sounds interesting, then you should check it out. I think it sounds super interesting. I also really like sci-fi though, so.
I like sci-fi, but theirs is a little too sci-fi for me.
I thought you guys liked the Leviathan's Wake book.
Isn't that one?
I tolerated it. It wasn't
I don't remember. Is
as
that
bad
the
as
one
I
with
thought it was
the
going to be.
zombie thing going on?
The zombie thing going on.
Isn't it that one where like they had to like lock them in?
Oh,
like,
yes.
There was like a weird, like it was in the air that was turning them cray cray. They kind of remind me of zombies. I'm not sure if they were zombies, but
yes, that was Leviathan's Wake. Correct.
Yeah.
You thought that one was too sci-fi?
Well, yeah, like when they were describing what was happening to them when they were using like the speed force and on their body, I was like, oh gosh, this is too much for me. I like a little hint of sci-fi, not like, I don't want, like, I know for you, that's probably what a lot of people like about sci-fi, where it makes sense and it like logistically can happen.
Right.
Where I'm the opposite. Like, I want it where like, this will never happen in a billion years. No need to explain it. I can just picture it. Cool, we got androids. Perfect. No need. With Lauren's comment about space opera also makes me giggle. What exactly does that mean? Like,
what does space opera mean?
I've heard of that.
I know we talked about it when we read Leviathan Wakes, but I always just picture like these astronauts like
exactly. Like, is it just like something that's been dubbed like a thing, and so now we just use it as such?
So no, it's a subgenre of science fiction.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I looked it up to give you the exact definition, so it's not just the Michael definition. So it's a subgenre of science fiction that emphasizes space warfare with use of melodramatic, risk-taking space adventures, relationships, and chivalric romance.
But where's the singing? Because
there isn't any singing.
Singing opera,
it's
see, maybe that's why I prefer just normal space or sci-fi books.
The term does not
opera.
refer to opera music, but instead originally referred to the melodrama scope and formulaicness of operas, much used in horse opera, a 1930s phrase for a cliched and formulaic Western film, and soap opera, a melodramatic television series.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah. Okay.
When you put it in the context of soap opera,
soap operas, yeah. See, that's probably why,
Space
as a
opera.
Latina,
I just kept picturing singing astronauts. And
so popular space operas that you would all know: Flash Gordon, Star Wars, Star Trek. Those are all considered space operas.
None of which
same here. Not really my thing.
But you've heard of them. You've never heard of Flash Gordon? Really? Neither of you?
Isn't there a song?
I've heard of it.
Flash Gordon. Oh.
I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
Is that a song?
Yes. He's originally a comic strip character from forever ago, but yeah.
No. I think I just know the song.
Fair enough. Anyway, that's what a space opera is.
Gotcha. Thank you for clarifying.
You're welcome.
My next one is The Teacher by Frida McFadden. Comes out in February. Typical high school scandal, troublemaker student, has dangerous secrets, and various things unfold. I just like this genre, so it sounded good. Dun, dun, dun.
My next one is The Eternal Ones by Namina Forna, February 13th as well. And once again, my little pattern continues. It is the last in the Gilded series. So I'm looking forward to this one too. Also really love the world building and the magic magic powers. I don't know. They're not, I guess it's considered magic if they can use like things outside of like a normal human capacity, right? Like it's all considered a magic. I don't really know how that works, but they've got superpowers in the sense that they can like not die. So there's that. But it's a very good series as well. If you haven't, I believe I bought the first book back in 2021, I believe. So the Gilded Ones, check it out. It's really, really good. Another good character and world building, and the fantasy aspect of it is really neat. And quite the twists in this one. So, but yes.
Very, very twisty. The Fury of the Gods by John Gwynne is my next one. Comes out October 22nd.
As opposed to The Mercy of the Gods, which we just talked about. Some is merciful, some is fury.
Yes, The Mercy of... Yes. Well, so this is the third book, the final book in the trilogy of the Bloodsworn Saga. Barbara and I read the first one of these for the podcast when Lauren was on maternity leave. And really I own the second one, but haven't read it yet. The first one was fantastic. I really have no excuse for why I haven't read the second one, but I'm really excited about the third one.
I mean, if you're like me, I always read the first one in a series, and then I will buy all the other ones in the series, but then I will wait until the next, like the last one comes out as a guarantee that I will be able to read it, because it really I used to be one of those people like read it when they came out, and then you would like wait years for the last one to come out and be like, oh my god, what year is this? So now I just buy them all to support them, and then I will binge read all of them so I can just not wait, because I'm once again an impatient swine, and so I do not want to wait. I've done my waiting.
True. So you'll binge read books that take days, but you won't binge watch.
No.
Oh,
I will not.
Shots fired?
I will not.
That's
You're not wrong. I am an honest person. No.
Shots fired.
All right. My next one is The Society of Lies by Lauren Ling Brown. Comes out in August. Princeton grad, reunion goes wrong. Mission to find the truth about her sister's disappearance, and then their ties to this Princeton's elite secretive society, the Sterling Club. It all sounds very interesting. Kind of a cross between like boarding school-esque like drama meets murder mystery type situation. So I thought it sounded good.
My next one is The final book in the Locked Tomb series is called Electo the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. I'm not even sure if it is coming out in 2024. It was supposed to come out in 2023. That clearly didn't happen. It's rumors are saying that it's coming out in late 2024, but I don't think an official date has been set. So I'm like just praying to like any presence there of the book talk gods and the books of for this book to come out, because oh my gosh, if you haven't read these series, I mean, I feel like it's a special kind, but it's so good. Like these books are like right up my alley. The way she writes is just amazing. The way these stories come together and stuff like that is just crazy. I just absolutely loved it. Michael and I read the first one, Gideon the Ninth, for I believe I don't know if it was a normal book that we did.
I think that might have been when I was out.
That could have been another one we did when Lauren was out. Yeah.
Yeah, I know Lauren was out because we read it, so I can't remember if it was just like an extra one that we did or if it was a normal one that we did. I don't remember, but I know we did it. We reviewed it. I just finished the second one. It is amazing. Absolutely loved it. It's very different from the first one. These books, there's like no genre for them because they're all over the place. They're like, there's horror, murder, mystery, considered science fiction as well. So it's just all the things. Absolutely loved it. Yes, so super hopeful that it's coming out. And as my final review of this, I need this book like Michael's skin needs lotion.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Wow, indeed.
I just picture like SpongeBob when he's like, water. That's what
Wow. All right. Next on my list is Ghost Station by S.A. Barnes. It's another sci-fi book. Surprise, surprise. After dedicating her life to the study of ERS, which is a fictional condition that results in violent outbursts, psychologist Dr. Ophelia Bray has been assigned to keep an eye on a ragtag crew as they explore a distant planet that was hastily abandoned by its previous inhabitants. While their investigation goes according to Planet First, things take a shocking and violent turn when one of their own is brutally murdered. With nowhere to run and no one to trust, it soon becomes clear that Ophelia might be the only one that can save her crew before it's too late. This might be a sci-fi for you, Lauren.
This. Yeah,
because it's kind of a sci-fi whodunit a little bit. It's a little bit of a murder mystery, and I thought it sounded really interesting. So, and I didn't say it comes out April 9th. Another book on my list comes out April 9th. That's 2, I think, now.
I feel like those could be for your birthday.
They could be. You're right.
My next one is The Best Way to Bury Your Husband by Alexia Casal. It comes out in March. It sounded really interesting. So it's like a dark comedy thriller. Sally ends up accidentally offing her husband, and then finds a bizarre support group of other women who found themselves in similar predicaments.
That's hilarious.
One quote describes it as, "This book is a mishmash of chuckles, thrills, and you go girl moments. It's like if dark comedy had a baby with empowerment and named it Hope."
I love that. I love dark comedy. This just that little synopsis that you gave sounds hilarious.
Yes, so I think this one's going to be right up my alley. I love dark comedy, and if it meets thriller, love that. So
when does that come out?
In March.
Oh, I'll have to put that on my list because that sounds really funny. Moving along, my other one is The Lotus Empire by Tasha Suri. November 12th, so it's kind of a long wait, sad day, but that's fine. Plenty of books coming out in between this. This is the last one in another series. I think it's called the Burning Kingdom series. Very, very good. I read the first one and immediately told Michael to read it because I thought he would really, really enjoy reading this one as well. And I do believe he enjoyed it, so.
I did. It's true.
Yeah, I was waiting, like, once again, I owned the second one, was waiting for the third one to be announced, and now that it was finally announced and the cover looks amazing, I shall be reading. I'm hoping to read the second one and hopefully the third one this year. I mean, I'm hoping. I will. Let's be honest. So, yeah, another one in the series coming to the conclusion of the series of 2020. Looking forward to it. If you haven't read these series, I think it's really good. I liked it. Cool, badass women. Go.
Go.
Initiate. Woo.
Next on my list is another sci-fi book. Shocking. Service Model by Adrienne Tchaikovsky. It comes out June 4th. And this one I think you both might like, but maybe wouldn't be one you'd immediately pick up. So this is the description says it's perfect for fans discussing the morality and ethics of iRobot. But essentially what happens is a robot who knows nothing of the world outside where the house where it works murders its owner. It's forced to go on the run.
Good for it, babes.
Something it didn't know was possible with its programming. And what it discovers is there's a world that's slowly falling apart and robots, not unlike itself, who are unsure what to do when humans inevitably disappear for good.
Wow.
I think it sounds interesting. Like it's like it's going against its programming, and then it gets outside and it's like, wait, hold on, the whole world is effed up.
Kind of reminds
too.
me of Ex Machina a little.
Yeah, similar-ish to that. I would say. They also compared it to the Murderbot Diaries, but I don't think either of you have read any of those books.
No.
Short books by no. Okay. I recommend those too. That would be a good assignment, Lauren, because each of the books is only like 100 pages. So
yeah, I could do that.
Along the same vein. But anyway, I think that sounds really interesting. I've read some other stuff by Adrian Tchaikovsky before. He's a fantastic sci-fi author, so I'm excited to see what this one's like.
Moving into my miscellaneous category.
Moving right along.
My first one in here is the one that we kind of touched on earlier. It's called Funny Story by Emily Henry. It comes out April 23rd. Typical rom-com chick lit book. I like Emily Henry. I've read several of her stories. She's all over Book Talk if you're in this genre.
I'm not familiar with her.
So I'm trying to think of what her last one was called that I read. But she's pretty good.
She's pretty prolific.
So she writes... So Beach Read was one that was on, and Book Lovers was on Book Talk. That were both hers. People We Meet on Vacation.
Oh, I feel like I've heard of that one.
So I've read all three of those, and they were all good. I like her. She's not like too cheesy. Not nearly as bad as the one that we all agreed to put down. But definitely not like you guys' typical read.
Yeah.
But since I've read her other books and I like her storytelling, I will be reading this one as well.
Nice. Mine is Anita de Monte and Laughs Last by Xochitl Gonzalez. That comes out March 5th. It's about a first-generation Ivy League student who uncovers the genius work of a female artist decades after her suspicious death. So it just sounded intriguing to me about that. So I'm looking forward to this one. I'm curious to know if it's going to be like one point of view, or because sometimes I know we get to the point of view of the person who got murdered. So curious about this one. I think it sounded good, and
depending on the length, I might get behind that one.
Yeah, I think I don't remember. I don't think it was projected to be too long. Do they say even before the book is out, like how long books?
Yeah, it says that. Usually, if you scroll down, it'll have a page count.
Scroll down
because usually authors, if you go to Goodreads, if it's on
Goodreads,
you can scroll down. For The Best Way to Bury Your Husband or whatever, it's at the bottom and it says expected publication March 14th, 400 pages.
Oh, 352. So yeah,
that's not bad.
No, not at all. So
I'd read that one.
Right up there. It's gotten the ARC copies and stuff like that have gotten good reviews. So I'm excited to read this one.
I agree. That one also sounded interesting to me. Let's see. I think I only have one left. I feel like you guys have more than I did on this list. This is my last one.
Oops.
It's all right. Lauren had, I think you and Lauren have the same amount, possibly. But anyway, the last one for me is The Deading by Nicholas Belardes. It comes out July 23rd. This is another horror novel. This one's a dystopian horror novel that was described where I read about. It's a combination of Under the Dome meets The Last of Us, which sounds super interesting. In The Deading, a picturesque fishing village is turned on its head when a mysterious contagion that appears to have come from the depths of the ocean begins to alter their daily lives. While the disease first only seems to infect local wildlife, it quickly spreads to residents of the village, causing them to collapse and die before they come back to life.
I want to read this one.
And they seemingly come back to life with it looks like parts of their body have changed into parts of sea animals, kind of. It looks really creepy and different. Yeah, actually, kind of similar to how some of those guys look. It definitely looks interesting, and that's why it's on my list. So
Under the Dome was good. as far as that goes. So
It's funny. I really liked it up until the reveal of why they were under the dome, and I was like, "What?" And so after that, I kind of was like, "Oh my gosh, are you kidding me?" I wasn't a huge fan, but up until that point, great book.
Up until then, I really liked it.
I did. It was really good, and then I was like, "You kidding me? What the heck is this?" Anyways, I digress. Obviously, I still have feelings about this. This was years ago.
Right, that was
clearly you do.
The show was good too.
I started watching the show, and then I don't know why I just never finished. So
I don't think I finished it. I think I started it, and it was one of those like back then where you had to wait a week to watch the next one. My next is The Waters by Bonnie Jo Campbell. It comes out in January, so it's probably already out, obviously. And The Waters is an instantly transfixing voyage into a small town and the women keeping its people alive, literally. Hermine, or Hermine, which means herself, Zook, has been an herbalist and healer for the residents of her corner of the Great Massagoula Swamp for generations. The book follows generations of her own family. So sounded really interesting. I feel like it is kind of like sci-fi fantasy-ish, kind of that vein. But yeah, it basically like lots of battles and things happening, but it sounded good. Apparently it's already out, so I would like to read that one.
I'm going to skip this one because I didn't realize Lauren had it on her list, so I'll let you talk about it, and I'll just say yes. Son of Blood and Ruin by Marley Lares, February 20th. It's a reimagining of Zorro featuring a heroic warrior sorceress. Yes, please. I was obsessed with Zorro. And a female Zorro. Say
yeah, this one sounds super good.
Super excited for this one. Hopefully it turns out
definitely
to be good.
Interesting.
Yes. Hopefully it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it. I don't want to be disappointed. Michael
used to chase me when we were kids with like his sword and do like this Zorro thing. After like the whole Zorro deal came out, I used to be in constant fear for my life that I would get Zorro sliced.
Well, we used to, that was after, not even the Antonio Banderas one. That was just because Mom really enjoyed the old Zorro. And so she had us watch that when we were kids, like the black and white Zorro.
He just used to always like chase me, Zorro, like,
and it was a real sword. I would cut the Z into her.
Okay.
Wow.
No, this was pre when he would chase me with kitchen knives days. Like that was later.
Wow, Michael. Violent tendencies, eh?
Michael, you don't have any more, right?
I don't have any. I mean, I can just start looking up books if you want me to throw stuff down.
No.
Wow. Fine. I'll just see myself out. All right.
Well, I'm just saying for the benefit of not having it too long of a pod. But so my next one is The Husbands by Holly Gramazio. It comes out April 2nd. Lauren is the name of the character, so that's good. Lauren opens the door to find her husband waiting for her, but the last time she checked, she didn't have a husband.
What?
Holly Gramazio's magical debut is about a woman who discovers her attic is producing an infinite supply of dream men, forcing her to consider how and when to pick one. So it sounds crazy. So this one is like magic meets like realism, I guess. So like she discovers that like basically her husband, or she like wakes up one day and her husband's there, but she's not married, and then realizes that like, I don't know if she like gets rid of that husband or if he goes back to the attic, and then another one comes down and she can basically like live out all these different lives with these different husbands.
Interesting.
And to see, but then she has to, I guess, I'm presuming she has to pick one life. It's kind of like that library book that we read where like you choose your adventure sort of thing.
Right.
So that's what it reminded me of, but I thought it sounded interesting.
Yeah, interesting. Can you imagine waking up and be like, whoa?
Yeah. It's like those TV shows where they wake up from a coma and they're like, I'm your boyfriend. And it's like, no, I don't know who you are.
Right. I've lost 10 years of my life. Who the hell are you?
Right. But this is more like they get to choose, or she gets to send them back. I don't like that one. Send them back up and then another one comes down, but it could be worse. And then she like it's kind of a choose your own story.
My other one is Off with Their Heads by Zoe Hannah or Hana Mikuta. That comes out April 23rd, and it's a Korean-inspired Alice in Wonderland retelling. I've kind of gotten into I've read quite a few retellings and Korean-inspired like that. I haven't read an Alice in Wonderland, I don't think, so that's why this one sounded really intriguing. Different cultures, gotta see how they do the retelling, so I'm really excited
That
about
one sounds
this
interesting.
one. Yeah, it sounded really cool. I believe it's a YA too, so right up the old.
Love a good YA.
Gotta love a good old YA. Gotta love that. So, of course, like I said, I have one more, but I believe that is your last.
Yeah,
one.
that's my next one.
Mm-hmm. So I too am looking forward to that one. I didn't realize you had it until after the fact, so then I was like, I'll just let you do it since you
guys have a lot of books that you both want to read.
Yes.
Yeah,
well, we'll just be starting our own podcast separately. We'll do 2 podcasts, this one and then a separate one.
Something individual just for you guys.
I mean, unless you're willing to get on board and read all these books we want to read.
I mean, some of the ones you guys want to read sound really good, so that's fine.
I think you would like this one. So the next one, The Cemetery of Untold Stories by Julia Alvarez, comes out April 2nd. A writer creates a literal graveyard for her untold manuscripts and stories and like drafts and things. And then the characters whose lives she tried and failed to bring to life and who still haunt her. And she basically like buries them in a graveyard. The cemetery becomes a mysterious sanctuary for their true narratives. The groundskeeper begins to hear these stories and things get gray. So like the groundskeeper of this graveyard, like basically starts hearing these like characters, and I don't know if they see them. I don't know. It was like a vague description of like if they actually materialize or if he's just like hearing things, but basically her stories that she buries come to life.
Literally.
So, like it's like Pet Cemetery book for stories.
We get it. We get it, Barbara.
I feel like if you're an imaginative person or someone who likes to write but never finished stories can relate.
Yeah.
That's probably true. That's all you got, right? That's your last one?
That's it. Yeah, that was it.
You guys are finally done. Live your long list of... No, I'm just kidding. You didn't have that many more than me. It was like...
Well, originally I was only allowed 3, so, you know.
Okay, that was an oversight when creating the podcast notes, but
I'm
fine.
Just kidding.
You clearly broke the rules if you thought you were only allowed to have 3.
I do what I want.
So, at the end of this, in closing remarks, is that what it's called? Did I get that right?
Yeah, you did.
Heck yeah, finger guns, pew pew. Have feedback about today's episode? Well, you can contact us by writing to badassliteraturesociety@gmail.com. You can also send us a DM or leave a comment on Instagram or Facebook.
Make sure you're following Badass Literature for free in your favorite podcast app. Give us a rating and leave us a review if they allow you to. Also, don't forget to follow us on social media. Our username is @BadassLitPod on both Instagram and Facebook. We'll be back later this month for our full review of More Than Life by Bethany Finger. We'll see you guys then, but until then, I'm Michael.
This is Barbara.
And I'm Lauren.
Bye.
Bye.
I know you bitches missed us.